slides here? Thanks.
Yeah, use the clicker too.
All right. Good morning. It's great to be here. It's nice to see so many familiar faces and some faces that I haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting. We're, the slide before, Yale Tech. I was a PhD student at Yale some years ago. I thought I would never, ever, ever in a million years go to a conference where I'd see the words Yale and Tech on the title slide for the day. So first of all, I just want to say congratulations to Victor and to Rich Littlehill and to Alina Gripsko and all their colleagues for putting this together. All of them, each of them, are spawned from YEI, the organization that I'm a part of. And I think that the fact that we have fellows that are now 5, 6, 7, 8 years out and are starting to come into their own and figure out how to better assemble us, I think is proof of the critical mass that we're helping to create. So thank you, Victor. For those of you who've heard me talk, I usually spend a few minutes talking about just YEI, the Yale Entrepreneurial Institute, and what we do at the university. You'll get a few minutes of that from me, but I'm also here representing the full university because Victor is such a slave driver. He only gave us a brief window in time to talk about what's actually happening on the university. So I'm here as a spokesperson, not just for YEI, but for many of our partners who have, in the last few years, really begun to scale their programs as well. For those of you who haven't been initiated to what we are a university department. We work for Yale, and we provide mentorship, grant money, ultimately accelerator experiences for students who we think, students and faculty who have technologies and service ideas that we believe can scale. Access to the alumni community, especially those who are interested in serving as investors and mentors. And ultimately, we have a small fund that sits alongside YI as well, where with the help of our investment board, we're able to make modest investments in those teams. A number of people around the room have gone through YEI. I won't point them out by name. You'll meet them during the day, who have become successful entrepreneurs, founders themselves, and helped give rise to more than $130 or $40 million in investment dollars up till now. I'll pick on a few just because I think stories are more important than, about particular teams are more important than talking about programs. Someplace in this room are two blonde guys by the name of Bob Casey and Rich Littlehill. And when they came to us back in early 2008, they wanted to build a company around vitamin water or some vitamin water derivative. That idea ran out of steam fairly quickly, and then they came back within only a few months' time with the idea of starting up a company to do electronic recycling. Jump ahead 5 or 6 years, and they found themselves the acquisition target of a billion-dollar company who was interested in them not just for the services they had created, but for the software they had built as well. And yesterday, to some great fanfare and I think several hundred likes on Facebook, Bob Casey retired from his company and announced that he's going back to Harvard Business School this fall. So Bob, I'm sorry you're going to Harvard, but it's nice that you're continuing your education, so great. We've also had impact at Yale, not just with pure student startups, but with students who've been working with faculty. And I think for those of you who haven't heard this story, we have the pleasure of working very closely with students from the School of Management. And Justin Borgman, who was a student in the 2009-2010 timeframe, he got together with one of our computer science professors, Daniel Abadi, to create a company called Adapt, which was did things in the database space that had never been done before with Yale technology. And while that company was eventually sold to an acquirer just a few years ago, giving Daniel an exit and Justin a means to come back to continue his own education. I think we saw in that experience of students working with faculty a better way for the university to actually advance technologies out of the labs as well. And there are quite a few stories that are now developing on the campus, sort of in the same model as what Adapt did. Just 2 or 3 years ago, we came to understand that we are, YI, Yale, the campus, is not the final finishing school for many of the ideas that come from the student body. And I think it was because of Aaron Fuhrer and what his team did with Panorama Education that we came to understand that being at Yale and being part of the YI experience, in many cases, is nothing more than a prelude to some greater more domain-specific experience, which is what at Panorama went on to do after graduating. Excuse me. After graduating from YAI, they went on to Y Combinator, and quite a bit of fame with investors of national note. So within the last 2 years, because we were finding ourselves challenged with all these bright people who had consumed vast amounts of grant dollars from the university, they still needed first investment. So with the help of a few investment partners, we were able, Yale and Connecticut Innovations and First Niagara, were able to cobble together $3 million. And with great success, we've managed to find a small handful of teams over the last 18 months, 20 months, that we've made modest first investments in, $100,000, no more. And this has been something which has not only been instrumental for helping the teams, but also in a fair number of cases led to those teams going on to real Series A investments in short order afterwards. But I'm going to stop talking about YI because I promised you I wasn't going to make this a commercial for my unit. The university is much different now than it was when we first started YI back in the summer of 2007. And I think most notable among the changes is Ted Snyder and Kyle Jensen at the School of Management have landed with quite a bit of fanfare in creating an entrepreneurship experience / curriculum at SOM that we never had before. And I think the fact that after years of YI being alone in the wilderness, so to speak, we now have an academic colleague, an academic champion at the university to give us a curricular route for where people can go for training and for pedagogy. I think this has been very instrumental, very important to us. And Kyle and Jennifer McFadden, who are here in the audience, you'll meet them today, think deep thoughts not just about the teams that are from the School of Management, but actually teams from all across the university. I think we've had a fair number of students from undergraduate and from other professional schools, all of whom have been touched by SOM. And for those of you who have academic aspirations, Kyle is in fact looking for someone in one person full-time and several person part-time to join him on the faculty at SOM. So if you see yourself as being not only a founder of a company, but also someone who's willing to become a teacher and has a love of learning and a love of dealing with people with virtually no venture experience, please see Kyle for more details. Probably the broadest experience that I've witnessed in the last few years has been the success of my colleagues from my school, from engineering, over at CEID, the Maker Lab at Yale. And what we've all witnessed is the fact that students at Yale, even though they don't necessarily see themselves as engineering majors, Vince Wilczynski and Joe Zinter, who run CEID, have found that they've been able to create a membership program which has inspired more than 1,000 students to join them, to participate in the extracurricular programs, to take classes and workshops there, to actually get their hands dirty in making things. And this is something that our unit, Alina Gripsko and myself, we look at this, what's happening at CEID, and realize that there are things we have to learn at YI in terms of creating a greater membership function, especially for the Yale College community. And we won't leave out our friends from the medical school. We have been blessed with the creation of a medical device accelerator at Yale too, which goes by the acronym CBIT. We call it CBIT. This is run by Peter Schulam and Chris Luce. And what these folks are doing at the medical school is looking for innovative and scalable medical device technologies which can get to market. And in the last just year, CBIT and YEI together have actually collaborated on more than a dozen different technologies and ideas that we're hopeful of eventually bringing into either one of their programs or one of ours. And even though they're based in medicine, just the same as what I said a few moments ago about CEID, CBIT works with students and faculty from all across the university, not just from the School of Medicine. Not to be left out, the School of Public Health, because they have a mission of impacting global health, are very, very inspired to think about the venture creation experience as a way to further their goals too, and for creating more sustainable means of providing goods and services to the developing world. And led by Marty Klein, who's their deputy deputy director, we have partnered on with several different teams through what's called the Thorne Prize at Public Health, and brought those teams into YI for further mentorship and guidance. On the faculty side, we're even beginning to talk about partnering with the folks in drug discovery over on the West Campus. And this effort's led by Craig Cruz, and he and we together are thinking about ways that we can help companies in that space as well. So that's just a snapshot of a number of centers across the university that YI is working with. So I think we have bright days ahead, and I just wanted to leave you our contact information. Should any of you be interested in coming on, alumni this is, as mentors or advisors, or perhaps seeing what kind of ventures we're starting for purposes of investment. So thank you very much.